Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Yo, what's good, y'all? We back again, man, with another In the Car Chronicles. And y'all already know what I need y'all to do in this video right here, man. Turn this video up like the rest of them, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe to this one for me. Let's get it, y'all. Get it. Let's go. But we're gonna call this story right here today. He vouched for his cousin. Part 1. Crazy story, crazy situation. But we where, people? We in penitentiary, man, when stuff be crazy all the time. And I'm telling y'all, man, like, it was crazy though, but you put yourself in these type of situations, man. You gotta take a major risk when you in the game getting money in penitentiary, man. It's just a part of the game. I feel like people on the street, they take the same type of risk with different type of different situations, but at the end of the day, we all are taking risks, man. You know what I mean? So I can remember, man, being in 30 building for this one, y'all. We in 30 building for this one, man. And for real, this around the time, man, when things looking good. You know what I mean? Things on the up and up, man. Like, I'm coming off the wave of Big Tiff coming through for me with the pack. You know what I mean? That wave was kind of about dried up because the situation was going on with her. So I'm super good at the time though. So around this time right here, I'm just kind of freelancing. I'm just, you know, I'm sponsoring people. Like, if you got a situation, I got a couple dollars that can back you, man. So, you know what I mean? Like, I was straight. Like, I wasn't worried about nothing. I felt like I had a good run with what I was doing, and I wasn't feeling greedy, man. I wasn't feeling greedy to the point where I was like, man, like how my situation ended up happening and why I'm not getting the pack no more from Big Tiff. I'm not even mad. So I had to just deal with the situation, man. So I ain't even gonna lie. I was rocking with a lot of people in 30 building at the time, man. I'm talking about I'm dealing with a lot of people. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with a lot of people that's definitely like cool, you know, because the block had a lot of people in there that was like addicted to motion like me. You know what I mean? Everybody in there was trying to do something, man. Even if it wasn't with the pack, it was a lot of hustling going on in 33 part, in the building alone, period. But in my part, it was like, you know, with me being done, you know, because I'm getting the loud pack when I was going through. So it was like I kind of set the stage as far as what should be getting. Like, you know, further down the line of my Lawrenceville bid, somebody ended up coming up there getting massive weight of the loud pack. And that was like the most I ever seen. I wasn't doing nothing like that because they was grabbing from a roller. I'm going to the VI game. So like when I started getting the loud pack, it wasn't really loud pack like that. So I was able to set the price 2 for 50. You know what I mean? You know, I told y'all for the mid dudes was doing 4 for 50 or something like that. 5 for 50, you get 10 or 12 for 100. Dudes was doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? On that loud pack, no, you getting 2 for 50, man. Somebody rock with you, you get 5. You know what I mean? For the ball. You know what I mean? Because it was like, it was exclusive. So like everybody respected it and everybody understood the price. So that's what's going on in my block. It's a lot of people in there trying to get this and now everybody trying to get their own loud pack, and it's whamming over there. You know what I mean? It was still things for me to do with my money. I never was in a situation where like, man, you know what, man, I need some Lala. I can buy whatever Lala is on the compound. I might know half of the dudes that's getting the Lala on the compound, so I can definitely, hey, yo, tell bro, I got 500. Hey, look, yeah, hey, look, something real quick in the block. Hey, I spend 100 with you. It's official. Like I did what I want at this time, y'all. Like I'm in a position where I hustled real good through the times I was winning, so I was able to see the fruits of my labor. You know what I mean? I was able to have a couple dollars in the cut with some reliable people where I can get this money when I needed it, man. And not only that, I had my own green dot card. You know what I mean? So I had money on that junk. So like I was good at the moment. You know what I mean? I'm chilling, y'all. So my homeboy, man, from the town, man, that I rock with, man, we're gonna call him Matt, man. We're gonna call my homeboy Matt. But Matt was cool. You know what I mean? Matt was one of those dudes. Definitely like getting money. He definitely like messing with the Lala. He didn't do no other type of situation. He just loved the Lala. We'll get the drinks, had that with the Lala. Of course, he'll hit the roll-up game. You know what I mean? Like, he was like that. But still, though, he was kind of like, you know what I mean? I had rock with him because he was on the same type of wave I was on. You know what I mean? Like, he was getting money in 40 building when he was going to the VI getting it himself, but that ended up getting shut down. I think he ended up getting hot, to be honest with y'all. Sometimes they'll catch a trail and end up watching you, and then you'll see them watching you, then you got to shut your operation down. So he was winning when he was in 40 building, but he ended up moving over to 30 building with us. And now I've been rocking with him, man. So my homeboy Matt, he sleep like downstairs, kind of like in the corner cell right before you get to the handicap a little bit, like 2 cells before you get to the handicap. So I will always go to his cell and mess with the Lala and we will always match the la-la. We'll always have some drinks and have parties, and you know what I mean? We'll be chilling. So the whole time we used to be doing that, his roommate used to be in the cell too. Now, I'm not going to say where his roommate is from, you know what I mean? His roommate was from Tidewater though, but I'm not going to say where he was from, you know what I mean? But his roommate used to be in the cell too. His roommate was a dude that didn't have anything. You know what I mean? Not like he was super just broke like that, but he didn't have a TV. He would go to commissary from time to time, but he didn't have a TV. He really didn't have no sweatpants, no Nikes, he didn't have no, he had a thermal, you know what I mean? But he didn't have the heavier clothes that you could buy off property. So like, he really didn't have anything, but still though, he was still cool. He was still a cool dude. We're gonna call him Zoe. Now, Zoe was all right, like I say, on the strength that he was in the room with my man, that gave him the green light, that gave him the access granted pass to be able to kick it with us like that, you know what I mean? Because I would come in there, my other homeboy would come in there, and another dude that went from Norfolk would come in there. It was just like a perfect cell to get lit in, you know what I mean? We'll blow it down, you know what I mean? In that joint, like, it used to go down in that cell. So like, his roommate used to stay in. You know, we used to rock with him. We used to have enough, and we ain't on no petty stuff like that. You know, like, bro ain't really got nothing. So, but we already know, since we going in they cell, blowing it down, we already know basically the price of that is basically like, we got to look out for him. Then his celly kind of used to be the package deal. So nobody really tripped about that. I know I really didn't trip about that. You know what I mean? Because it used to be enough. It only 4 or 5 of us. We got drinks. We got la-la. We got roll-ups. We straight. We about to have a real party in this joint. So I never would trip about it, man. But we'll be in that joint tripping. And his celly, man, the dude Zoe, like, he kind of was like he wasn't really too big. He was like a slim dude, but like, I give him 5'7", something like that, 5'6", 5'7". And he was, you know what I mean? He was kind of short dude, and like, but he was one of those like scrappy dudes though. Like he was one, y'all ever seen one of them dudes that ain't scared? Like, he trying to lock up and wrestle with anybody. Like, yeah, I ain't, you know what I mean? Just because my size, don't sleep on me. I always try to wrestle. Every time I lock up with him though, I had to show him, y'all. Like, I used to have to show him. Sometimes I sling him, you know what I mean? I'd never try to dump him, but I'll get him over here real quick, man. But he was one of them dudes, he gonna definitely, you know what I mean? He gonna definitely scrap and do him. I won't never mad at him, man. But he used to be in there with us, man. And he used to always be talking junk about how he wish he could do this and how he wish he can do that. And he used to always be like, man, I'll tell you, if I ever get in a position, watch what I do. Watch what I do. He used to always be talking, but that never came around. He never was in an opportunity to be able to be in a position, man. So like, all he used to do is just witness what we've had going on. You know what I mean? So like, I won't mad at that. I'm pretty sure he wasn't mad at that because he definitely was inheriting a free party. So bro just used to be in there with us, man. So we was used to Zoe. You know what I mean? We was used to him, man. But I can remember being in the cell one time and all us was in there and we was all talking, man. And the rumor came out that the people that wear the black, which is the CERT team on Lawrenceville, they was talking about running down on people. You know what I mean? Like, that was the rumor. At this time, I had just scored something for $1. So I got like 6 spoons. The dude across the yard gave me a 6-piece for the $1. So I got a lot of loud pack right now. And they talking about like the people in the CERT team supposed to be running through. So everybody trying to figure it out because my whole pod is basically dirty. You know what I mean? My whole pod is basically dirty, but everybody has their own little way of what they stash and how they do this and how they do that. So like, when we hear a situation like that about to happen on Lawrenceville, like, people understand, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, this is prison. Like, they can run down on you at any time. You should never be that comfortable for where you feel like they're never going to run down. No, that's why I lasted on Lawrenceville. And that's why a lot of people like me lasted on Lawrenceville, because we all figured it out. You can't even though Lawrenceville was the sweetest camp in America, the ones that used to be too relaxed used to be the ones that we would see on Sussex telling stories about how Lawrenceville was. No, we had to learn from their mistakes, man. Like, we had to take the Sussex paranoidness to Lawrenceville. So like, a lot of dudes that came where I came from, we was over paranoid. Like, we was over paranoid. So when we hear stuff like this, we tightening up. We tightening up because we already know you got to live to fight another day, man. We at a spot where you definitely can get back right. So at the end of the day, everybody ain't really panicking too crazy, but if they gonna run down tonight, everybody got to get right. So while we was in the joint, man, we like, yo, Zoe, hey, look, man, come on, man. We always play fair, man. Take one for the team, man. Take one for the team. So Matt was looking at him like, man, you should take one for the team. Like, you, every time you look up, you at a free party. You got all this going on. So he like, what you mean take one for the team? I'm like, man, look, bro. I was like, man, look, I got some spoons. And my homeboy was like, look, man, I got some spoons too, man. Yeah, and I got some tobacco, man. Look, if they gonna run down, man, I know you got a place in here to hide that. Jay, like, where am I hiding that? What if they run down on me? We're like, man, listen, they know y'all ain't doing nothing, man. When they run down, they gonna run down on all the people that's doing stuff, man. And then if they hear about you holding stuff, that's when they run down. I was like, them people ain't never heard about you doing stuff, holding stuff, because you ain't never held nothing. So he was like, man, y'all trying to, man, I don't be doing that, man. I ain't one of them dudes that be holding stuff, man. Like, that ain't what I do. So my homeboy Matt was like, man, look, man, you gotta kind of look out, man. He was like, well, why you ain't doing it then? Matt was like, 'cause that ain't what I do. That ain't what I do. I ain't gonna. Matt was petty because Matt's supposed to take one for the team too, y'all. So boom. But at the end of the day, though, man, like, you know, like we hollering at his roommate. We hollering. Matt is our homeboy. You know what I mean? We hollering at his roommate, man. His roommate Zoe supposed to take one for the team, man. Every time I look up, he got a Fizzy in his hand or a cup of wine or even a roll up. We'll come in there late night, kind of like on the last lockdowns, going, they sell real quick, get a roll up in before we, you know what I mean? He always was invited. It's time for him to step up to the plate, man. So we was serious in that jump, man. Me and my homeboy and Matt the one yeasting the jank the whole time, you know what I mean? So we serious in that jump. So we like, yo, what's good? Like, you ain't got nowhere to stash this jump. He like, man, like, I'm just gonna hold it, man. Y'all think they gonna run? I'm like, man, listen, they ain't gonna run down on you, man. He was like, man, look, I'm gonna do it this time, man. But I ain't, you know what I mean? I ain't doing it no more, man. You know what I mean? We like, man, all right, man. Like, we looked at it like, you know what I mean? It's all good, man. You want carrots like that? You already know, people. Don't be mad at me on this, but we already know we was asking for a big favor. You know what I mean? We were just asking him for nothing. We was asking this man to hold narcotics. You know what I mean? So we already knew this was a big favor, but I'm just like, man, for past 4 or 5 months, 6 months almost, this man has been invited to free parties, man. And that type of stuff don't grow on trees, man. So you got to come back and do a favor, y'all. So boom. That's how we looked at it, man. So he agreed. And we went on and gave it to him, man. So when we gave it to him, man, my word, they came in that junk that night, like everybody said, and they hit 2 sales. Now, they didn't hit my sale, which I am thankful, but they hit my homeboy sale, then they hit another sale. So they hit a couple joints, and we thought they was going to do more, but they ended up leaving out. Everybody's up watching this junk. They got the lights off, but they hit 2 junks, one downstairs, one upstairs. So everybody see the junk, you know what I mean? So they leave. So I already knew that Zoe was shaking in his boots. I already know he was, man. So when we come back out that morning, everybody was talking about it, man. So Zoe was like, yeah, I held it down. I ain't doing that no more. Man, I was shook. They was like 5 sales from him. You know what I mean? They wasn't that far from when they shook down the sales, like 5. It was on the same row. You know what I mean? So he said he was shook, whatever. I already knew he was. So he completed the mission, which was a good thing, man. But him saying that he'll never be there for us, though, like, we was feeling some type of way about that, man. So I had hollered at my man, and my man hollered at Matt, was like, yo, look, man, we just gonna start going in our cell, man. Like, if your roommate want to carry it like that, like, he don't want to rock with us when we need him, man. Like, we gonna look out for him, you know what I mean? Like, for him doing that, we was like, look, give him this. Like, we had like 2 feces. We had a spoon apiece. We gave him a spoon apiece. We was about to give him a spoon apiece, but when he come back out with the stuff and talking about, man, I ain't doing it no more, man. All that whining, like, nah, man, we ain't getting up nothing now, man. Like, all that what you just done, that equals out for all those parties you was invited to, man. So that's how we was carrying it, man. So my man was like, yo, look, we gonna start getting lit, man, and Weezy jank or my jank, man. You just gotta come up that jump, Matt. So Matt was like, all right, bet, that's cool. I ain't feeling how you carried it either, man. We like, yeah, that's what's up, man. So, you know what I mean? For like a couple days, I guess he started feeling the effects of like, man, like my roommate is not even in the room no more. Like, you know what I mean? My roommate is not in the room. So we just started ducking him, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. We just started ducking Zoe, man. Like, Zoe, man, look, the only way you was invited to those parties because we was coming in your cell. It ain't like we in my cell, like, yo, Zoe, hey, call Zoe, man. Nah, we won't doing none of that, man. We won't doing none of that, man. So we started ducking them, y'all. That's what we call it, penitentiary. We started ducking them. That's word, man. We started ducking them, man. Playing past them. That's what we was doing in that jump, man. So I know he's feeling the effects of the joint because he's coming out at hours where he's usually intoxicated. He's feeling good, but he's coming out and he's looking regular. He's sitting at the table watching Maury by himself. We looking out my cell on the top tier. He downstairs at the long table sitting at the second seat with his legs crossed like this, watching Maury Povich. He like, we upstairs tripping, like, look at him. We like, yeah, that's what's up. So we like, yeah, look at him, man. We on that joint baking him, y'all. That's my word. We super baking him. So he sit down here and he took his punishment, man. I guess he was feeling like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy right there, man. So we just forgot about it. Like, you know, he ain't invited, and that's just what it is. So we continue on with our life, man. So I say like about a week later, we was outside rec. I seen them bringing some new dudes in, you know what I mean? The intakes, I seen them hitting 40 building. Like, I was on the yard, they came around, and I seen dudes talking to them as they was walking. It was like 8 of them. And some of them went in 40 building, and some of them came down to our building. So I had seen that, but I wasn't thinking about was they gonna come in the pod or nothing like that. So we was still outside rec. So when rec was over with, we all come back in. You know what I mean? So it's like November or something like that. So it ain't too cold yet. It ain't freezing. But dudes out there, you know what I mean? You still go outside. So when we go back in the pod, I see they got 2 dudes standing in the front of the pod, and there's a cot You know what I mean? They all standing by the cart. So when I walk in, I immediately looked to see if I knew the dudes. I didn't know them. You know what I mean? I didn't know them. So one of the dudes started leaving out. You know what I mean? The one that stayed, he was kind of like a light-skinned dude. He looked like he was probably about 30, 35 or something like that. He was definitely older than me. You know what I mean? But he kind of light-skinned dude. You know what I mean? Had the low cut. He kind of looked mixed a little bit. You know what I mean? He had the low cut, no waves. You know what I mean? He had like a regular dude. He wasn't diesel or nothing. He was a regular body dude. So I'm just looking at him because I made sure I ain't know him. So I was like, nah, I don't know dude. So I go up the steps. You know what I mean? So when I come back down the steps, I look. I see Zoe talking to him. You know what I mean? Zoe having a conversation with him. So Zoe kicking it with him. You know what I mean? So that's how I be in penitentiary. Like when you go by where dudes from, without asking them, by seeing who's coming to talk to them in the block, who's talking to them in the building, who's talking to them on the yard. Now, I didn't see who he was talking to on the yard. I didn't know about none of that at the time. But when I seen Zoe talking to him, I'm like, oh, he must be from where Zoe from, or Zoe know him, one or the other. So Zoe kicking it with him. See Zoe down there talking to him, so when I come downstairs, you know what I mean? I see my homeboy, I was like, what do you know dude? He like, nah, I don't know dude. You know what I mean? So don't nobody know him, so he ain't paying no mind. So when he got his stuff together, started grabbing his stuff, and I seen Zoe grab his stuff, and he moved upstairs to like over top of where Zoe and my homeboy Matt cell is at. Upstairs on the same row, but like right by the handicap. So he moved in that joint. So I didn't know the dude moved that was in that cell. I didn't even notice. So he went in that joint, you know what I mean? So who he going to cell with? He went in the cell with this young white dude, you know what I mean? The white dude was cool. The white dude used to work. I forgot. I want to say he worked somewhere in the school building, so he was always gone. But he was probably like in his late 20s. He was one of them cool white dudes, be chilling, you know what I mean? So he moved in the cell with him. So the white dude see him, you know what I mean? I guess they had a conversation. So after Zoe took his stuff up there with him, Zoe came back down the stairs where we was at. So the dude stayed in the cell with his roommate. So when he came back downstairs, me and bro was like, oh, what's up? You know him? He was like, yeah, man. He was like, man, that's my cousin, man. Yeah, man, my older cousin, man. He was like, man, yeah, he crazy, man. He just got locked back up, you know what I mean? I'm like, for what? He like, man, violation. I'm like, he back in prison? Like, I be despising people, man, that come back on violation, y'all. Like, you came back to prison on violation, gang? Like, bro, you was on the street and you couldn't stop messing with the la-la, bro. You a maniac, bro. It was between staying on the streets or messing with the la-la, y'all. Be super sober. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. So whatever they violate for, it might don't be for the la-la, but I just never really got it. I never really got it like that, man. So he said that's his cousin, you know what I mean? We're like, oh, all right, that's what's up. You like, yeah, man, he cool though, man. Yeah, this is second bid. He done this and done that. I was like, how much time he got? He was like, man, he ain't got nothing but, well, he got to finish the time he had off his last bid, which was about 3 or 4 or something like that. I'm going to ask him, but I know he about to get out. I'm like, man, that's crazy, you know what I mean? So everything, you know, like we ain't talked to Zoe in a minute since we've been ducking him. We ain't talked to him in a minute, so me and bro just kept talking. So he went back over there upstairs and started talking back to his cousin. You know what I mean? So they ended up coming down the steps. So me and bro was standing by the microwave. So he pulled up with him. You know what I mean? He was like, hey, look, man, I want to introduce y'all, man. My cousin, man. Look, man, we gonna call him Jesse. He was like, man, it's Jesse, man. It's Jesse. I was like, what's up, bro? How you doing, bro? He was like, what's up, man? I was like, Weezy, man. He was like, all right, my homeboy. He told him his name. He was like, all right, what's up? What y'all be getting into in here, man? How this joint is in here, man? I'm like, man, this chain all right, man. You know what I mean? He was like, man, man, this is my second bid, man. I was just on the street, man. I need a cigarette, man. Who got the roll-ups in this junk, man? Y'all be having roll-ups.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.